What's up, everybody? This is the Calling Card Patch Report, Episode 4. My name is Destro, and I'm here with Watts and Slick Rick, as usual. Today, we're going to be talking about Patch 3.1. So, like we did last time, this is our second version of doing the live show. We're going to lead with kind of general questions about the patch, and then get a little more nitty-gritty as we go along, and then kind of end things with questions from you guys or comments from you guys, things like that. What are your thoughts overall on Mindscape now that we've had a full Stella to do?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I think as the weeks go on and you get more challenges with each of your units, it becomes less challenging. It might just be for me because I have every character, obviously. So yeah, but it does seem like people who have more limited rosters, which is probably a more standard situation for most players, I would imagine. It does seem pretty challenging, like across the board. So I don't know. I'm all for just at least content that makes you think a little bit, and Mindscape did make me think a little bit, especially earlier on and with some of the final nodes that required some more kind of weirdness. I don't love stuff like the Almighty one where it's like if you don't have the twins, like this becomes infinitely harder.
Yeah,
I do wish there was like one or two avenues to complete every node or Stella, whatever. But outside of that, I do enjoy it, and I'm curious to see what the next one looks like.
Yeah. Watts?
Yeah, I'll second that. I like the challenging nature of it, but I do really dislike the very limited Stellas where it's like you have to have this person. Like the ones where it was like you have to take an extra turn, so that's like only Joker,
and it was right in the way, too.
In the middle. Everybody has to go through it. The twins one was like has to be twins because it says like if I remember, I can look at it now. It says other than Wonder, so you couldn't even use Almighty with Wonder to give your team that boost. Like I would like if they were a little bit more general. Like there was the one that was like Cert, but it was like when an ally doesn't deal damage for a turn, it like boosts their damage. That could be done with like Fox, who it was probably meant for, or like Ryuji, and like stuff like that was sick. The one where it was like the party has to have multiple of the same attributes was, I feel like that was like unreasonably hard.
It was like the hardest one.
Yeah, it was like a random one that I went down, but it was like really hard for some reason. I barely killed it in time with my horror team, and my horror team's like not very basic either. Like it has some dupes on it. Like
I was sleeping on Mindscape until I ran into that one, and Watts was like, "Oh, you should throw Haru on the team, or Haruna on the team, the Haru Moko team," and I was like, "Oh, okay," as a joke. And I got my ass handed to me. Like it wasn't even close. So I had to like lock in for that one. So yeah, I do worry about people getting stuck, but it seems like from what I've seen, people with like lower awareness accounts have still managed to clear everything. It just took people a little longer, and they had to get their what do you call them? The attempts back up. I agree with you. I would agree with both you guys. I would like to see more variety. I still want to see a bigger map at some point. I know they need more characters in the game to do that, but it's still really fun. I like that it has a different cooldown than the weekly reset too.
Another nice thing about it was when you got Runa halfway through the patch cycle for it, and then you had like max uses of her at the end. That was
that was cool.
Getting like a bit, it was like a boost to your like power later in the.
And like a little trial, like you can mess around with the new character. I like that. So I know that was kind of a question about last patch, but I figured I'd go over it again since now we kind of have, before we talked about it our first week, and now it's kind of over, I feel like, for most people. So moving on to, content that's brand new this patch. Just general thoughts on Runa as a character. There were kind of things we knew about her going in. We know she's standard, things like that. So what are your general thoughts on the character? I think all three of us have her. So Watts, if you want to lead with this one.
She's a fine character in my opinion. She's not. I've only ever used her with like not the Mont team, so I wouldn't say I have the most use out of her. I'm sure she'll show her like full potential when it comes later in the patch cycle for like the fire team. It would be nice if they would have given us somewhere we could use her with the fire team this patch cycle, but I'm looking forward to what she can really do, because like I feel like we haven't seen everything she can do yet, because right now it's like it's just whatever. You know,
absolutely, especially when she's clearly like designed for, like, obviously she does buff the resonance damage, and it's a good buff to resonance damage, but it's weird not seeing the fire saboteur get to do fire saboteur stuff.
She was a pretty good boost over Vino from last SOS.
Oh yeah, and we'll talk about SOS. But Rick, your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty similar to Watson. I assume you, Destro. She's fine. I think she's just fine. I don't know if the buffs did a ton to change her fate on global. I think she's kind of what she is. It does feel odd that they didn't give us any fire content, but I imagine maybe something we'll get into a little bit more as we go on one of our other topics. But I imagine they're saving fire content specifically for someone else who may or may not be here sooner than anticipated. So, yeah, I think she's fine. It is a shame, as I always say, like that these standard characters, you can see the like intentionality of it, where they were designed to be like, hey, if you want to pull them now, you can, and then you can start building these characters up as standard units as we go, with more awarenesses on lost 50/50s. You can get weapon dupes and stuff, and I think they start to feel a little bit more impactful, kind of like how we have our standard 5 stars. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I think she's perfectly fine, and once we get more content tailored to what she's like actually doing outside of Mod Swan, who I don't know how many people actually ended up pulling for her anyway. We'll have like a better idea, I think.
Yeah, and I may or may not have accidentally pulled her A2 while trying to build pity for Kasumi, who's not even coming out next patch. So yeah, I think Howler's fine. I think she's definitely one of the better standard characters we've seen so far. But like you said, it's another one where the buffs are like kind of make me question what they were trying to do, because, and we've both talked about this in our videos regarding Howler, but like, okay, you know, these buffs open up variety for teams, but they open up variety for teams way later in the future, like Akihiko, Summer Puppet. Like, do you really think people are still going to be using a fire saboteur that late into the game? Like, interesting changes to her kit, but yeah, like you said, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I am excited for her synergy with Line Dance Rin, or CNY Rin. I never know what to call her. Okay, so something we've already kind of referenced, the SOS Bug. There is an effect specifically to benefit Howler, so that you use her for the SOS. Yeah, and they coded it incorrectly into the game to the point where Howler was actually bad to use. And so everyone ran SOS and we're like, huh, this is why does she suck so much?
I think it decreased final damage based on highest ailment accuracy instead of increased. Yeah,
and we can just rap about this if you guys want. I don't really have any questions to ask about it. I just think it's really funny. Like, it just because I don't know too much about how this ran for the other servers when Runa came out, but you would think like, okay, this character comes out, this is the effect in SOS that we're going to put on to make sure people use this character. So it makes you wonder, like, did they change the effect that was running on CN and that's why it broke, or did they modify it in some other way? You know, either way, it's really funny. I just wanted to talk about it. I know our good friend Rick. I know our good friend Rick here had to make how many videos because of that bug?
Just 2, but I probably could have made a new one where like the score wasn't like less than half of what people are actually scoring on it and what I scored on it. But yeah, it's just insanity. Like the idea that they are just like shooting patches out like blindfolded is kind of funny. Like no one went to test this and was like, man, Howler's like not doing anything. Maybe we should like check this. Not just fire it out and hope for the best.
Send it.
This is worse than the Mel thing, in my opinion. If anyone was around for like the Mel disaster where he was giving like, I don't remember what it was. It was like 500% damage increase, because at least Mel was just like 200 coins. Like some people specifically pulled Howler, and their intention with Howler, you know, or when you pull the character, their intention is to score well on these endgame modes and to have the characters that you need for both sides. It wasn't just Howler, it was the other side too, because Haru is an ailment accuracy scaling character.
Yep. It
was just like, how does this happen? But it fixed now. I'm surprised they fixed it. I thought they were just going to let it ride and then give us gems at the end of the patch, which frankly I kind of would have preferred.
I think they didn't want to do that. I think
correct.
I think that what we got with Mel was kind of insane, because did you pull Mel back then?
Yeah, I passed Mel, and then when people were like, "Oh, you got to try Mel right now. He's like insane." And everyone was like, I remember we were in Bear's Discord like doing math, like this doesn't make any sense. Like Dominion should be better. And people were getting like 3x the scores they were supposed to be getting, and then I bought him, and then it came out like, oh, he's just totally busted, and yeah.
Well, they ended up, it was like everyone got a rebate, and then if you bought him, you got a rebate on that.
Right.
And then you also got more. Like you just got more.
They gave
for
everybody the top SOS reward.
Yeah, like that. They do not want to do that again, bro. So in a way, I'm surprised that they fixed it mid-patch, but like when you think about it, I think they just did not want to give people that kind of compensation again, because that was a lot of repression metal 4s. Like that still has my account disjointed in a way to where I don't really like worry about them releasing new ones anymore, as far as like staying current with repression metal 4 silver or whatever you want to call it.
It's me like off topic. It reminds me, but like in every FPS game that I played, like the devs would make these changes and be like, oh, this will change how this works, and it's like, no, actually that changes a ton of other stuff, but it doesn't fix what you were trying to fix because you don't understand how this game works.
They really don't. And it's so funny because when me and Watts first started playing this game, we talked about Nightmare Gateway and SOS, and I remember it was either me or him. It's probably me. I was talking about how interesting I found it that I was like, yeah, they had to have labbed all this stuff out. Like, you know, to make sure that certain things work and certain things don't. And it does a certain amount of damage where it doesn't kill people's parties if they have them lined up the right way. And I thought it was way more complex than it actually is. It just works sometimes and it doesn't work sometimes, you know, like that's kind of all there is to it. Sometimes you get these crazy bugs. So, all right, that's all we'll harp on. It's just really funny glitch. So next is one of the things that's happened in the last few days. The Chord Rerun. So you guys' thoughts on the Chord Rerun. Did you pull, and as a follow-up question, do you think the average player should pull?
So I
know the answer to this.
Pull, but I kind of regret it a little bit because I was at A2R4 and I had a bunch of pity built up for Kasumi, and I was going to be like, oh, it's alright, I'll just spend some of it. And now I've ended up A6R6, expecting Kasumi to come out next, and I was like, I just won't pull that many Kasumi dupes, it'll be fine. Well, now W..Vast is coming next, and I kind of regret having this many dupes of Chord. But for the general player consensus, I think I would only recommend a player to pull if they have started since Chord was initially ran, and this would be their first time getting Chord. I think getting an A0 Chord, pretty good if you don't have a Chord yet. But
pretty huge.
I don't think any of her dupes are powerful enough to justify going and spending spending resources that would like limit you as to wise, or to limit you from getting one of the stronger units of this patch cycle and win fast. Unless you're like going from like you had A5 and you're going to A6, you know, unless it's something like that crazy.
Yeah. We had people asking in our server, you know, should this be the time where we pull A1? And it's weird. Like back then, our A1 was insane, and it still is really good. But the bar has just raised so much over, you know, from 2.0 to 3.1, 3.2, that it's like you kind of don't, and you don't really have the room either. Is the thing, like the time, especially if you're a low spender or free to play.
Yeah, I'll kind of start at the end, similar to what Watts said. Like, if you don't have her at all, especially if, like, someone just said in the chat, like, if you're prepping to pull for Violet, like, that's a really good synergy. And obviously, Chord is just really good in general. So if you don't have her and you started playing after she came out, or for whatever reason you just couldn't get her during her initial run, I definitely recommend her at A0. I have her at A0. I was kind of tempted to go A1, but similar to what you guys said, I don't know if at this point in the game, with all the other really strong supports that we have now, you know, the twins being, you know, a thing that exists, and W.Vast getting moved up, and stuff that we'll probably discuss as we go on a little bit more in terms of, like, you know, character order and stuff. But with the uncertainty on, like, who's coming next, especially if you have her at A0, I think just stick at A0, maybe grab the weapon if you didn't get the weapon the first time around. But otherwise, I would not recommend, like, going any higher than A0. If you don't have her, I would grab her. And I did not go A1. I'm just going to stick at A0 myself. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. The reasons behind that. If we had the same, like, if the character release order was kind of more defined, like how we thought it was, I probably would have given it like 150-50 to A1 just to have it, potentially. But now that we're kind of up in the air with it, I'm passing. So it is kind of diabolical, though, to put this Chord rerun right now and not have her in that super rerun. It's just kind of all diabolical.
It's just, so full transparency, and I will answer the question I prompted too, but they got me and Watts.
Yeah.
they got us.
Yeah, because
go ahead, sorry.
They revealed the change. They revealed the rerun, and then like 5 hours later they revealed that there was going to be a Kasumi, not Kasumi, but the banner changes. Yeah, because we were doing a stream. We were doing an SMT stream, and Grant linked it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll check it out before I go to work. And I had A4 R6 Chord, and so I was planning on getting her A6 at some point. And I was like, okay, well, if Kasumi's next, then I think it'd be worth it to just go ahead and get A6 Chord. Maybe I just go A0 Kasumi, because I don't really, I know she's good. I don't really care that much about her A1. Like, it'll be fine. Lo and behold, the next morning, or that night, in the middle of the night, they upload the preview, and it's W.Vast instead, which is just crazy. Like, I personally feel like they should have made those announcements at the same time, but like, we all know it was deliberate. That was a hook, line, and sinker, like total bait. Yeah, absolutely.
For Chord to get awareness, because Chord is this character where awarenesses with her are never. There's never really like a bad feeling on a Chord awareness if you're working your way to A6 because of how good her A6 feels. But obviously, if you're passing up a W.Vast, W.Vast A1, I feel like, I guess we'll get more into that. But bottom line is, it kind of sucks. The way they did it feels bad. But no, as far as everyone else, if you don't have her, you definitely should pull her. I think this is a good time. Kind of like Watts was saying, if you're newer to the game, me and Watts have a friend I've talked about him a few times. He's newer to the game, and he started post 2.0, so he just didn't have Chord, and it makes it really tough to where you are just having to borrow her every cycle, or you're just having to go without those bonus highlights. And it's just a huge damage loss. So it's nice that people like him can use this rerun to get into the meta. So the next thing is the big topic. This is kind of a two-part question, and just something we can talk about, less of a question. So as I just kind of alluded to, after they announced at Chord Rerun, they gave us our next preview for our next character, and it is W.Vast. And for those of you who aren't, actively tracking the character release order, W.Vast was not supposed to come next. It was supposed to be Kasumi. Now, this isn't, in my opinion, it's not really a good, bad, neutral thing. It is just very unexpected, and it kind of opens Pandora's box to like, okay, well, they've never moved a character release like this before, so, what does that mean for the future? And we will talk about W.Vast a little later, but just generally, what are your thoughts on them moving characters like this? Do you think it's good or bad? And we'll start with Rick on this one.
Yeah, I'm personally not a huge fan of it, just because people, rightfully or wrongfully so, have kind of put their, have set their plans far in advance, because we do know what's coming, and obviously they don't like that. It's pretty obvious. Yeah. I think they don't want that. They want us to be kind of in a frenzy, because you spend more money when you don't know what's coming, when you can't prep, right? So
yeah.
I'm not a fan of it overall, especially because it doesn't feel like there's a reason for it. It kind of feels like, to me, I'm sure there are some reasons. We've discussed it. I think we discussed it yesterday a little bit, but there's a couple of reasons for it potentially. But to me, it largely feels just like, hey, we want to do things different, so we're just doing it different, which I always hate. I prefer there be like, a cause that makes sense behind why you're doing things, which this doesn't to me. So I don't like it personally. But and to put the Chord Rerun here is just like diabolical again, to reiterate how diabolical a bait and switch that was.
Yeah,
which totally intentional, like you said. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, and it has implications that we'll get to, I think, probably next after we kind of cover W.Vast. But yeah, not a fan myself.
Moving the characters around, it's kind of whatever, as long as we're getting all of the characters. In the patch, and we don't get anything crazy like they move like Blitz from the 4 series up, something like crazy like that. If they're within like 1 to 2 patches of each other, it's fine, it's whatever. But it's less so this one movement and more so like, is this going to be the standard going forward?
Yeah,
is what is the more worrying.
Can we just not plan anymore at all? Yeah. And that's was that your thoughts on it? I don't want to step on your toes or anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Aside from the fact that like the other than the like Chord Rerun into announce changes hours later. It's like, man, come on.
Yeah, and like I would be a lot less salty if they actually said what they meant on the stream, because the first things that I saw circulating in the the P5X discords is, oh, they're delaying Kasumi, as in they are not having a character next patch, as in we're just having a rerun next patch. That was the big rhetoric that people were getting, and I'll be honest, I didn't really believe that. I almost feel like we're usually going to get a character every single patch for a little while. Maybe it'll slow down eventually. I did not think we're just moving around characters. So I personally think that's something they should have made a little more clear in the live, and I've seen people say that they thought it sounded clear that they were doing that. I don't feel that way, but
yeah, even if it was clear, like even if they clearly said, "Oh, we're just moving stuff around," like, all right, well, what does that mean? That, like even if you took it the way that they intended it to be taken, it still kind of left a lot of questions up in the air. Like, why not just say, hey, some of the characters that are coming later on in this patch cycle, we're moving them up just to fit better with the real world holidays. Like, if that's their reasoning, which it's not, but whatever. Just like give us a reason and tell us what you're doing, rather than just like, yeah, we may be making some changes. That's it.
And also doing it in 3.1 or 3.2. Like it's like Rick said, it feels like they've given up their like, okay, we can trick them into pulling this character. It feels like they've given up on that, and they're like, just swap it around so they can't predict or like have full plans.
It's also that they like kind of snuck this in, because when they initially were talking about this, they were talking about moving Valentine's Day up, not characters.
Yeah,
they specifically said they wanted to move the Valentine's Day event earlier.
Yeah, and, like, that's the impression that I got from that. Not a character.
It felt like just that like patches worth of like event was moving forward.
Yeah.
Instead of like getting a whole like swapping the patches completely around. And I don't know. It's and this also like if they're bringing W.Vast earlier, does that mean they're bringing all of the story content earlier too? Which I would assume it has to.
Yeah, I think so. And that, you know, yeah, I have a problem with it because I mean, you know, because it makes poll planning difficult, obviously, but honestly, mostly because I don't have a ton of faith in the global team to move things around on their own like that. Like, I don't know. They've already made it clear to us before that when they do these things on their own, it's not as easy as they thought. You know what I mean? Like Lufel's business plan. Like how long did that take them to implement into the game? You know, things like that. I just think they're better off sticking to their guns. But I don't know. Maybe this will be a quick swap thing. Maybe it'll be a couple characters that get swapped. But I think the main thing is I think it's crazy to do this so late into the game when we're, you know, into 3.1, 3.2. Like
unless they have a plan for another twins-like patch, and they're like really getting ahead of it, which is maybe giving them too much credit.
Yes, it is.
Because otherwise it's like, why move this? Like if they want to get the story out faster, then just shorten the patch. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just like shorten the patch cycles by like 2 days or whatever. Like I don't know.
I personally, I have no problem with. I don't know how you feel about this, Watts. I have zero problem with front loading the story instead of doing this thing where we wait months to get the second half of a story to where you've forgotten some of it, and just say, okay, here's the story in 3.1 to, you know, the first half of 3.0, and then the rest of it is going to be Crossroads of Fate events and stuff like that, instead of putting a story piece on the first half and putting a story piece on the back half. If they want to do that, I'm totally fine with that, because I feel like that meshes better with the Persona 3 stuff, because the Persona 3 stuff is like its own thing. I have no problem with that, moving the story.
So Sasuke Paris brings up a really good point as to what their logic could be behind this, being that the Rico synergy is needed for the Valentine's event, because Rico's involved in that event, and because initially Valentine's wasn't with the Rico patch, so it feels like they might be trying to like Frankenstein this patch together, where they give us the Rico synergy because we need the Rico synergy to be in the game to have the full context for the Valentine's event. So they're putting it all together in one.
And then like, is this just going to be an absolute monster patch? Like the story content, the Valentine's Day update, the Rico synergy, I feel like that's a lot for a single patch.
Hey, but I'll never say no to a bunch of content.
No, I won't.
The problem is what comes out.
Exactly.
The following patches. We have nothing.
I will say the Valentine's patch was always going to be shoveled into another patch for us, because the patch that Valentine's came out with was just a rerun banner, and
which is why I think Kasumi would have been perfect for that. Well, Kasumi with the Crossroads of Fate and the Valentine's Day. Yeah, it would be sparse, sure, but it'd be like this patch. A new character, a little dumb social link side thing, maybe a Trial with Thorns or a Revelations card event or something. You're gonna say
weird.
Sorry.
I don't know. It's just weird. Like in general, it's like, I don't know. We're like swapping characters around for Valentine's Day, but we had summer in the middle of December. Like, like what's the what are we doing exactly? Like that Valentine's Day is like a fake holiday. Like what are we? Why are we moving stuff around for? I don't know. It feel like you couldn't do Valentine's Day at like the beginning of March. Like it's that much of an issue.
Also, they mega nerfed our last rerun, so like, why are they making a big deal out of this one?
Yeah, are we getting the Valentine's Day rerun?
A good question. Yeah.
Dude, if
they might just kill the Valentine's
bro,
Day.
I'm gonna lose it if we don't get the Valentine's Day after all this.
I mean, I'm not gonna have any money to spend on it because Chord into Windfast, but like, come on now. I would like the rerun for people who didn't have it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then like I did want to bring up a positive side to it. Rick, I think, kind of asked the question of like maybe it was rhetorical, but like in terms of like a balance sort of thing for the release order changing. I do like that this gives Mont Swan the opportunity to actually get her team before Kasumi comes out. But I think that was more Blackwing's releasing characters in a weird way than something for them to try to adjust themselves. Because like, obviously W.Vast is supposed to be on Mont Swan's team, so it is nice that she's going to have a patch, probably a long patch, where you get the full Mont Swan team of Mont, Howler, W.Vast, sort of that trifecta. But do I think it's worth all this? Probably not.
Yeah, it's not like that I have so much an issue with them like doing it or whatever. It's more like
the transparency.
I have faith? Yeah, it's like, do I have faith that like what comes after is like well thought out and planned out and like whatever, or are we just gonna like start getting stuff that like makes no sense? Like you said, like is Blitz like, oh well, she's part of the story, so we'll release Blitz. It's like they're not gonna do that obviously, but
they're gonna hit the Makoto Yuki button.
Yeah, right. So I don't know, like in theory I don't have an issue with it, like if they properly do it. I guess it's just more of a referendum on like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely makes the future uncertain for future content, and I feel like what they don't understand is that being able to look to the future is kind of a positive and a negative for them, because I'm sure they see it in a way of people being like, oh, well, they're going to skip this character because they know they're coming next. But it also works in your favor. Like, we saw this with Chord, where they were able to essentially just siphon money from people by buffing her A6, and it worked.
W.Vast the same. Like, they're going to get people to pull just because everyone's talking about her. So
yeah. So yeah, I don't want to talk in a circle, but yeah. And the next topic was kind of the future of stuff potentially being moved around, like because if we do get the story stuff next patch, then that means we don't get any story for 6 patches, I think. Is that correct? Because the next story would be in 4.0.
Yeah, because you'd have to go through what? You'd have to go through Rin, Turbo, Violet, Matoi, right? And then forgetting someone.
Akechi. Yep. You're forgetting someone.
Yeah, that's minimum 5 patches. So
yeah,
it's a while.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pretend like we're not already used to going a little bit without story, but I feel like it's a little different when the story has picked up and it's like consistently getting good. So yeah. It leads to things being uncertain, but maybe we can have a little faith in the global team, right, guys?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm a little hopeful. They've made some good decisions at some point.
They have a lot of explaining to do in the next stream. I will say that. This next stream better go crazy. Like,
just catch us up, and we can be done with all this, and we can all just be on the same timeline, and everyone can be happy and confused and excited for new stuff at the same time, and we don't have to worry about it.
Catch us up and give the reins back to CN so we can play what they're playing, please. And then the next topic was the Valentine's Day rerun. So one of the questions I had was, and I feel like we kind of sabotaged ourselves with this a little bit, Watts, but if there is a Valentine's Day rerun and you are able to pull on it, what character would you pull, Watts?
Honestly,
let's say you can pull one.
Pull one. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd pull Smoko A1. I think that's what I would go for.
Yeah.
It seems to do a lot more for the Haru team than I thought. I kind of underestimated the defense down that Smoko gives with her A1.
Mind you guys, me and Watts both recently got Chord A6, so we're good on that one. And we just keep seeing in our guild, like, people with A1 Smoko. Like, for whatever reason, when she came out, we just ignored the defense down that came from her A1, and it is surprisingly good. But Rick, what about you? Do you think you would, I guess a better question, do you think you would touch a Valentine's Day rerun? Or what would you pull on there?
So the only way I would pull on it, because like I pull for every character A0, that's kind of like good enough, and unless the A1 is like so much of a game changer, and I think more people are going to pull it than not, or whatever, like greatly changes the way the character works, and then I might do it. But unless there's some kind of currency tied to it, and I don't know if there was on the other versions, kind of like this past rerun.
I think I could be wrong. You correct me if I'm wrong, CM players, or TW players. I believe every time they do one of these reruns, you get those gems.
Okay. So if that's
from what I understand.
Yeah. So depending on who's on that rerun, like, I don't know. Chord A1. I guess just probably pick my favorite A1 or whatever.
Yeah.
And just at least pull towards the rewards that I want in the shop.
I think it's the female characters up through Haru is who is on the rerun. If we get it in the same state. Which we probably, there's no way we do, because they moved it so far up.
Yeah.
They moved it so far up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And then I do want to toss, Destro, I don't know if you saw the question from Genso in the chat about the spending event, but I think that's an interesting discussion to have after we go over this one, potentially.
Yeah, the spinning event. Me and Watts had talked about that a little bit like weeks ago, and it just got completely ran over by everything else that's been going on. So I guess do we think there's going to be a spinning event on top of all of this other stuff? My guess would be probably, because you have, let's see, the Chord Rerun. The Chord Rerun runs into next patch, right? Oh my god.
I guess,
it does.
Right?
It does.
Yes,
yeah.
It does.
Oh my good lord.
So the next spinning event, it actually lines up with the Chinese New Year patch.
Okay.
Instead of like any patch we should. So technically we shouldn't be getting it for a while. That's another thing. There's some speculation that they will bring the Chinese New Year patch forward after this one. But
yeah, this kind of bleeds into the discussion from before about moving events and stuff.
Yeah, which is, it probably needs to be like the topic of the episode, honestly, because it's kind of a big deal. But go ahead, Watts.
I think that I'm sure it will happen, given that we had one before. It's gonna happen. The interesting part about this one is that this one is the one where they finally introduce infinite algorithm and all of the other special skills that you can only get with the spinning event, and it becomes the moving around of patches is not as much of a big deal until you consider the spinning event moving around, because that's kind of a big thing that the Chinese New Year patch has. And bringing that sooner is a little bit like sets a dangerous precedent, because like we had one not too long ago in 3.0, not 3.0, but 2.7. Yeah.
Oh, Genso Buken, that's Sage's. I was wondering. I was like, how do you know so much? Yeah. Sage's is he's a knower. He has ball knowledge on P5X. No. Yeah, I agree with Watts. I would like ideally, I would like the spinning events to line up with what makes sense, right? Like, yeah, I want it to line up with, like, for example, if you wanted to line it up with, in between this Chord Rerun, this W.Vast patch, and then, if possible, somewhere with Line Dance Rin and the rerun. That's what makes the most sense to me if you want people to spend money. But maybe there's some some mental gymnastics I don't understand about getting people to spend money on the game.
On the Asia servers, it actually lined up with the release of Rin, and then the next patch was the start of Valentine's. So the Valentine's rerun. So like two big like spots where people were spending, and not having that rerun kind of affects how much people will spend. But I do think there will be a lot of FOMO that gets people to spend. People are going to want the new skill cards. They're going to want the skill cards, and they're tied to that event only.
Yeah, and CJ said another spinning event when I feel like we just had one. Feels interesting.
Also, Ceejay brings up a good point. Another thing you could do with that spinning event is if W.Vast's banner ran over, you could just like pull a 0, and then when that the spinning event starts in the next patch, then you could A6er, and it would count towards the spinning event, you know?
Yeah, and it seems like that's the best thing to do is just wait.
Yeah, but if they're like not completely shuffling it around and bringing it forward, W.Vast's banner will be up by then for us. So it kind of throws things a little bit all out of order.
Yeah,
and it still feels like we just had one. Like, I feel like we need that extra month before we get another one. It would be a little bit too soon and for that reason, I feel like that would lead me towards thinking that they're not doing a full reorder of the patches like some people think, where some people think that they're going to bring Wind up for Valentine's Day, then since it'll be line up for Chinese New Year, then we're going to have Chinese New Year next. Oh, and then because Matoi's so good with Rin, we're going to have Matoi next. I don't think we're getting that much of a shuffle. I think we're getting this patch, and then we're going to go straight back to Kasumi, and it's going to be a straight path there on forward with the patches in order.
I don't mind being wrong on this, but I don't think they care that much about Chinese New Year to line it up. Rick made a good point. They were nowhere near summer, like not even close, and like Valentine's Day, I don't know. I feel like they made it clear they made it clear before it's not. Yeah, I also just don't see them moving things around like that much, but who knows? Maybe they will.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Matoi
is not getting bumped up.
Also, like, okay, you bump up Matoi. That it doesn't really do anything for Matoi. Yeah, you're not doing anything for, like, is she a versatile, like, limited saboteur? Sure, but releasing her early doesn't do anything for her as a character. You know, Rin gets her in the same way that Mont Swan gets Howler. It's like, okay, cool, a debuffer for me to use. Sweet, you know. CJ thinks I could see either angle. I could see either angle of them bringing up Rin. I think a Matoi is the bridge too far for me.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy one.
I think that's where I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, I can't see any reason to do that. No, yeah, I don't think they'd move Matoi either. Yeah. Kizo Aoi, I probably just butchered their name, but if we're not having a spinning event on the CNY patch, then we'll probably have one in March, so Sega's quarterly earnings look better.
That's the real holiday.
That's why they're not bringing the spinning event up. You know, they gotta have one each quarter. That's it.
Yeah.
If you buy P4 Revival, you get 100 free pulls in P5X.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've been saying this for a while. They need to link stuff to the Atlas store. Those little dumb shirts. Have you seen those shirts they're selling that have Mara on them? It says they've got one for like a bunch of the SMT5 demons, and it just says their name on it. They have one for Mara, so it's just like a giant. Oh wait, can they not hear you, Watts? Are you on mute?
I've been able to hear Watts.
No,
I think.
okay.
Me.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. I can hear.
Okay. Somebody said the other is mute, so I wasn't sure if.
Oh yeah.
Because I know one time we had an issue where people couldn't hear you on stream, but they may have been referring to something.
I have two different mute buttons, one for stream, one for Discord. But no, I double checked. I am able to be heard.
Okay, they trolled me. But No, I think that they should link, like, you know how when you buy stuff on the web store and you get gems in the game? I think they should do that for Atlas merch. It wouldn't even have to be that much, and I would probably buy some dumb shit.
What was the thing Nintendo used to do? Was it like Club Nintendo?
Oh,
or something?
Yeah, Club Nintendo. Yeah,
you used to get the codes like in every disc thing.
Dude, that was sick. Yeah,
that was a good idea.
And you redeemed. I remember I got GameCube controllers that you could only get through Club Nintendo. That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, it was a while.
It's like My Coke rewards. You remember that?
These young kids don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
They call their games digital. They don't buy physical games anymore.
Yeah, it's true. You open the case and there's like nothing in there. It's like, congrats, here's the code. And that's why it's one of the reasons I moved to PC. I know this is derailing the conversation, but like it just feels like
it was inevitable.
Physical doesn't really matter anymore.
Yep.
That's a good question. Do you guys feel like, and I feel like I probably know your answers, but do you guys feel like this swap up with Kasumi, like let's say this is true, and sorry, I lost my train of thought. W.Vast and CNY Rin jump the line, and Kasumi comes after them. Do you feel like that affects Kasumi significantly enough to where people might not pull her as much in terms of like investing in her as a character? Because I feel like before, in the current release order, she kind of just mogged Mont and then had 7 patches to just rule the meta. And then, Makoto Yuki came out and kind of took over from there. But what are your thoughts on that, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, the later she gets moved back, the less longevity she has, right? Like, because Makoto Yuki is the single target assassin stomper. Like, he's just going to be just a beast, right? He's going to power creep every single target DPS we have in the game, essentially, right? But the original timeline, like you kind of laid out, Destra, was that Violet had 7 patches or whatever to own the game, essentially. And every patch that you kind of push her back, you're losing a patch of that. So, yeah, I think it does hurt value. I don't think it'll stop anyone from pulling her if they wanted to pull her, but maybe it does stop people who are like, I'm going to go all in for her A6 because she'll be really good for 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is. Maybe they're just like, I'll go A1 or whatever and just stop there and save for, the P3 collab.
Yeah, this definitely hurts her a lot in my eyes. There's like 2 perspectives that get hurt here, because like, imagine you didn't pull Makoto because you thought Kasumi or somebody was coming sooner, like than this. Those people are getting like really messed up, and then I know I personally am not going to pull as deep onto her banner as I would, because if she was coming next patch, I probably would, even though I said I wasn't going to A1 because I spent on the Chord's banner, I probably still would, end up A1ing her.
Yeah, it's still in a spot where it's like, that's a long time, but when it goes from like 7 to 5, that's...
Yeah,
I don't know.
The number of patches, it's getting way too close to Makoto Yuki for me to feel comfortable pulling too deep. So now I'm thinking it's probably just going to be an A0, R0 mate. Yeah, I'm going to R0. I pull every weapon now.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to R0 and keep moving and not think about it too much.
They've also kind of established that like the buffs aren't going to do an insane amount to where it's like Kasumi could worm her way into 4.0 and still kind of not get mogged as badly by those characters. Like, I feel like they've kind of set a precedent for the buffs being good, fine. And this doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about now, but I totally agree, Sages. I've seen so many people say, I'm skipping CNY Rin because we already have a fire character, and A6 on is better than CNY Rin. I think a ton of people are gonna pull her anyway. I'm not gonna lie. I think people are saying they're not gonna pull her. I think they're gonna pull her. Like, I understand that the elemental coverage, the idea of like, I already have a spread fire DPS. Like, I get it, but yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Rick? I mean, I know you pull A0s, but let's say you didn't have to, for making build guides and stuff like that. Would you have that opinion of like, you know, I have elemental coverage here, I don't need this character, or how do you feel on that?
I think it works out like if you're looking for a reason not to pull her and you have an A6 on, that's your reason. And you'd be justified in it. But otherwise, it's kind of like if you want the character, don't feel like you're like wasting the pulls just because it's like, oh, I have this A6 on, I don't, you know, I don't need her. Just, you know what I mean? She's gonna be strong. You know what I mean? She's gonna be better than On, who's like a standard release 5-star character. You know, how many people have her at A6? I have no idea. How many people have invested into her to the level? You know, so those are all factors in it. I would say if you are looking for a reason not to pull her and you have an A6 on, that would be kind of my only, you know, don't do it. Otherwise, I would recommend pulling her still.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious to see. And then I think Watts stepped away for a sec. But yeah, that's just something I didn't really think about until Ceejay said something about it, and I was thinking about it. Oh
yeah,
no,
like someone said in the chat,
free to play.
Yeah, free to play.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
A great skip for free to play. When we talk about these things, generally, at least I think maybe Rick thinks of it differently, but I'm always thinking like Nightmare Gateway SOS, like top 200 in 8-star, top 30-40 guilds. So talking in that sort of like competitive aspect, on like planning, you know, pull planning and competitively what's the best thing to do and things like that. So no, for free to plays, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's an easy skip. Especially with God, how stacked things are about to get. Right. It's like you want to script.
You'd just be better off waiting till 4.0 at that point. You know what I mean? Like, just wait for the really busted units and save up.
Yeah.
Especially because how well the C's characters play on one another. You know, I imagine if you're pulling Makoto Yuki, you probably like P3, you probably like C's, and you're, you know, free to play, and you're just being careful with it.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to pull a couple of those characters.
Oh, dude, if I was F to P, I would be saving. We had somebody in our guild earlier on who was saving all of their stuff for Yusuke, and they managed. What did she got up to like A2 or A3?
I think it was
R0.
I don't remember.
It was pretty high. It was pretty high for free to play.
Yeah, it was.
And it was before 110 as well.
I think it was A2R1. Was what she
they pulled another weapon. She pulled another weapon. So like, you know, people have their favorites. Competitively the best thing to do is let somebody else eat the CNY. Yeah, I don't know what guild you're in, but I don't have. Well, like we might have somebody. No, I'm just kidding. Or actually, yeah, we do have somebody who's trying to.
Yeah,
A6.
we do.
Yeah, we do have somebody who's trying to A6 Rin, but that's because they really like her. So
as a character, yeah.
I guess I just asked this about A6, but have you looked at her A1 by any chance? Because I feel like her A1 has been a really big point of discussion with people. Rick, sorry, I forgot to say it.
Yeah,
Rick.
well, we know that a lot of her like elemental stuff is tied to that A1. I'm still you know, huffing the hopium that gets kind of melded into the A0 is kind of like a Howler-esque buff. I highly doubt they're going to do it because they know that people are going to go for the A1 on like a pretty, you know, well-known meta character. So I don't know if they're gonna bless us with that, but yeah, it's supposedly pretty good, and it kind of opens her up a little bit. Yeah.
So her A1. So me and Watts have kind of gone back and forth on like our thoughts on it. So her A1 is kind of like the Howler buff in a weird way, except it's way better. It changes her from having a wind character has to take advantage of her S1 to get that bonus damage, but her A1 just opens it up to every element in the game other than physical. So that makes it to where her rotation on single target characters can just be skill 3, where she spends all her SP, and then skill 1 to debuff. And then back and forth like that. And it does seem like that opens her up to every DPS in the game, but V and Watts are having a hard time understanding why you couldn't just do S3, S2 if you had her A0.
I think that's a perfectly viable combination. Like, the skill 2 is not bad. Like,
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is very like, it is very okay. You do not need the skill. Well, the A1 is skill 1 with like the bonus effect better. Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh,
but
for sure.
like, you definitely do not need to go all the way and get the A1 to make her viable. I think she's even viable if you don't even pull her weapon. I think her A0 alone is just so good.
Yeah, I think she's cracked. I'm having a I am having a hard time because I think she's one of the characters I've seen more than almost any, maybe since Chord, where people are like, yeah, you have to have her A1. Which with Chord, it makes a little more sense to me because it changes her rotation. And you know, kind of sets you ahead in the fight and saves you some turns in SOS. But
yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of buffs they bring forward here. Like, do they go all in, like put all the chips on the table and say like,
yeah,
we want your money, so we're gonna make this character even more busted.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they do.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we appreciate it, CJ. Hey, CJ, if you ever want to come on, just let us know. I mean, we'd have to get it approved with Rick, of course. He runs a tight ship, but we might be able to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we might be able to get you on here.
Yeah, anyone who wants to hop in. The idea of the first one of these, honestly, was like I asked these guys if they wanted to do this podcast because like we kind of felt like there wasn't that many people in the Persona 5. I don't know why I use like the government name, but the P5X community that were like interacting as much. You know, at least on like formal content.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as many people, you know, I'm open to getting other people on whenever we can.
Yeah.
You know,
no,
talk
for
to
sure.
more people.
It would definitely make me have to like compile less questions so I could ask, so I could go around asking more people. Because we want to, for those of you, because it looks like we have more viewers than usual. For those of you who are newer to watching these, this is our second version of the live version of this. Before we were just doing them pre-recorded, but we realized we like it better when we're talking back and forth to people. The first half is usually me asking questions to the guys, giving their thoughts, and then kind of saying what I think. And then the last half is, you know, what we're doing now, where we talk directly to you guys. But yeah, CJ, just let us know. You know, you're in the Discord, so if you want, next time we could do like a featuring CJ, and I can talk about your funny pull videos. No, MMO. So MMM0019. That is actually something I was talking about this morning. Was trying to get clarification on her A1, and it is worded. Me and Watts were looking into this. Watts was asking me about it, and I had to go into the global Discord or the worldwide Discord and ask TW players because the wording is not good. It does make it look like it's just a few elements or maybe not all of them, but it is, I've confirmed with a couple different people, it is every element. So as long as it's an elemental attack, it's covered under her A1. So the only characters it's not going to work for are the only assassins it's not going to work for is Ryuji and Mesa. So everyone else does get covered under that though. But it's fun, especially because everyone is interested in the same thing, right? Like we all like Persona, we all like JRPGs, and that alone, bro, people who love JRPGs they love to talk. It's true.
In the One Piece community, I don't know anyone who's in like the One Piece manga community, if anyone here is in that, but they do a thing like once every couple of months called the Reverie, which is like a big thing in One Piece, and it's literally like 40 people at the same time, and they've kind of toned it down a little bit over the years depending on who's hosting it, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like it's just like they get like all the big people, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Would you guys be opposed, asking Rick and Watts here, I guess if you guys say no to this, it makes you look bad. But I was gonna say, would you guys be opposed to CJ joining the call now?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just kind of rapping with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we need to have a big 4.0, big like round table with everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I like Rick said, I'm totally open to whoever wants to jump in whenever they want to talk. It's like you're hearing now. We just talk about whatever, and then if you saw the last episode, we're literally just talking about Persona games for like an hour. And that was when the most people were watching. So we were like, okay, maybe we should just talk about
right now again.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should just talk about like nonsense.
We have one topic that we haven't discussed yet, though.
Oh yeah.
We talked about W.Vast, but we haven't talked about Tempest Rico.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the new character, guys. And I want to make that a point of discussion. Okay. So I'm not going to make fun of anyone if you feel differently on this. Chat. I want to let chat go first. What do you think of these names they're making for these characters? Just in general,
Tempest
just
Rico,
all of them.
Frostgale, Kotone.
Yeah.
I
two
think
in particular.
Tropical Motoha.
Oh, that one's not as bad, but they are so bad at it. Like,
Wasn't it Sunshine Tomoko? Or something like that.
Seaside Tomoko. Which it's just like, why? Like, like summer works. Summer is fine. It's like, okay, if you want to be cute with it, okay, like I get it, but
I'm telling you, it's because they didn't come up with the changes or like the translated names. They're like, we're actually gonna come up with our own name. We're not gonna use the community name. We can't do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Varying opinions on that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, what's up, CJ?
Yo.
Hello.
How's it going, man? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is my first time talking like any of you, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I've definitely your videos before we even started doing this channel. Your Joker video was one of the first like YouTube videos I watched on this game.
Should have re-rolled. I should have re-rolled.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Oh man. Yeah, good to have you here though, man. Like you said, we just kind of we do have a plan for these where we kind of ask questions in order and then we just end up yapping. It happens at the end every time.
That's how my streams go.
Yeah. I gotta say I haven't checked out any of your streams quite yet. Do you talk with Zavai a lot?
Zev, he's a Nagi, Merciless, and Earphone are kind of like my little group.
Okay, cool. So I've checked out a couple of Zev's streams, and those are usually pretty chill. But yeah, we've also got.
Are you also doing a 1,000-hour reroll in Enfield?
No.
Yeah.
You can have it. Man went 150 accounts deep.
Hello, Grant. Yeah, so Grant is kind of so. I like talk in all our videos. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just popping in from my car because I'm on the road, but I figured I'd pop in and say, hey.
This is CJ. I'm sure you've seen one of his vids before. His pull videos. Oh, yeah. He does the funny pull videos on P5X.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were pulling your hair out over Queen. I remember that. Yes.
I don't even remember if I was. I probably was. I don't remember. The only incident I remember being bad was Marion.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one to beat.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
$300 deep on Marion banner. No weapon either. Straight A0.
No.
That's standard.
Yeah, no. At the time, Marion, she did have a lot of use. Like it did really feel like it was kind of a pain not to have her for a little while there. Like
she just made the game so easy.
Yeah, you had Metro. You had Metro, where she was just completely breaking the mode, just like overheal, just killing everything. So that was really useful. And then
talk to me about how painful it was to go through those patches without Marion.
Yeah. Grant also didn't pull a certain character. What character was that, Watts? What character was that? What character was that Grant decided not to pull? Oh, I think it was Queen.
Yeah. Don't worry though, I got Yui.
Yeah. Oh yeah. CJ, what do you think about the characters being moved around? What are your thoughts? Because I know you said a little bit in chat, but I want to see. Do you think it's like a net negative, net positive, or maybe an opportunity for the game to be a little different? What do you think?
As long as they don't do it too much, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Admittedly, I've already talked about this a lot. I've already I've released so many videos in the last few days about this, but when it comes especially to the banners, I do think they're gonna run W.Vast, CNY Rin, and then Sumi. But
okay.
I think they could have, because when the stream dropped, because I live stream all of the dev streams, so instantly my Discord was going up in flames talking about what they mean by this, and it became so much debate, and some people thought it was one thing, some people thought it was another thing. It's just so easy. They've gotten so much better at being transparent with certain things. It's so obvious they weren't transparent with this on purpose.
Oh yeah,
I really
no,
wish
absolutely.
they just said, hey, by the way, this is coming out, so we're gonna move character banners around. At least say that, so that we know something's changing banner-wise.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And then the chord thing really rubbed me the wrong way. I've said it 3 times already.
Dude,
the chord thing I hated, because I logged on, I saw chord, and then I saw the tweet. I was like, there's no way.
They got us. They got me and Watts. Me and Watts were victims.
There was like a 5-hour delay between the tweet going out and then the chord rerun going up. And
dirty.
Yeah.
No, and I think that was a good summary, because that's really what I want. It's just transparency. What are your full plans for W.Vast, CJ?
A1 just for Sumi, to be honest.
That's valid. So you're a A6 Sumi enjoyer?
My account is basically like shilled completely for Sumi. I have an F6 Glimmer. I know F6 does nothing. Genuinely
just for the love of the game.
I need it.
Yeah.
Sumi waiting room over here.
Yeah, I actually haven't. I know Sumi's kind of like Futaba, where people go in the Twitter comments or the Twitter replies to P5X tweets, and they're like, "When are you releasing Kasumi?" And now it's kind of valid.
Have
Usually
you
it's
seen the
like,
replies to them now?
no, is it really bad?
It's under the W.Vast tweets specifically.
Oh no.
Ooh, yeah, I can imagine how that.
Yeah, I feel like they probably pissed people off. Yeah.
I think it's a gacha game. It's going to be toxic, and I think something like this was bound to happen sooner than later. And I think this is just like kind of the first taste of it. I feel like it sucks even more, specifically because we're behind patches. Like we're not caught up. Like if there was no CN servers, all of this is just new. All of this is just fresh. We're just waiting on the next character. Yeah. But because we kind of have some sort of foresight, it feels more toxic than it is.
Oh yeah, well I mean that's what me and Rick were saying earlier. It's not even that you're moving things around; it's that you waited till 3.2 to move things around, and then you also weren't very transparent, not even close to transparent about it in the live stream. I think that's what has people the most. And then like CJ said, the chord thing is kind of the icing on top
I think the chord thing. I think a lot of things can be not forgiven, because like what is there to forgive? We're like shilling money to a gacha game. But at the same time, it's like I think the chord rerun 4 hours before you put the tweet out felt very icky.
So I went to Twitter and I'm scrolling through. All of their tweets have like single digit replies, maybe 20. The W.Vast revealed has 68 replies.
Uh-oh.
You
want to share some that are safe for the stream?
Yeah, this is my favorite one that I found so far. Let me.
Okay.
I'll share my screen and then drag it over.
Okay. Son, I'm crying.
This was not tough.
What are you doing, bro? You're ruining my pull plan so badly.
There's Violet. There's some people hyped. And then,
some people are excited. So
fuck you. Oh my god.
Fuck you guys. I've been saving for A6 Sumi for a long time. Is that you, CJ?
No.
No, I don't think that's CJ.
I had to remember if I replied to this or not.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's CJ. It's funny. I'm glad CJ, we were saying earlier, we were planning on this episode only being like an hour long, just because, there's not really much to talk about for this patch. And then all this stuff came out, a couple days ago. It's like, oh, okay.
There's
now we
so
can.
much to talk about now.
yeah.
I heard y'all talking about the A1 debate earlier too, which if I get asked this, and the Chord versus Win debate now,
Dude,
I've asked this so many times.
Yeah, and I would. It's funny because I was thinking about it at work a couple days ago. I was like, oh, I wonder if there's like a need for a Chord versus W.Vast like type of video, and I looked it up, and there's like 5 million of them. I was like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that.
What I haven't heard yet, but I'm expecting to hear at some point, is the twins make her irrelevant.
Oh God, yeah.
The twins just make it to where you don't need to pull her or something.
It's actually already out already.
Yeah.
The first one, that Bear released, he was talking about the twins, and he was saying it diminishes W.Vast value a bit. Which I talked to Bear, and admittedly, I'm not saying it's one of those things where I think I just disagree with him, but I think I understand kind of where he was coming from. He was talking about if you don't have either and you have A1 twins, you can kind of get away with getting Chord over W.Vast because you technically already have a good buffer.
Yeah,
I think the sheer amount of like crit specific buff that W.Vast or Wind Tempest or whatever gives makes, I think, edges her out, edges Chord and
it does what?
You heard me. Edges Chord and the twins out just like on the slightest of margins. But I think if you feel, also do not prioritize a game over your personal finances. So if you can't,
I would never do that. Oh my goodness,
man!
I would never do that. That's a good question though. Just kind of since Grant kind of answered that one, just going around, talking about, do you feel like the twins diminish W.Vast? Personally, I don't think so at all. I've seen people bring this up with like Turbo. And the thing is, you look kind of like what Grant said. You look at what they do. Is a support doing that much crit molt for somebody? Is a support? I think what Bear may have been getting at is the versatility of twins, because that's one of W.Vast's biggest things is how crazy versatile she is, right? So I guess I can kind of see it from that angle, but even then, like. Yeah, it's hard for me to say that a strategist diminishes another strategist when they're in that like W.Vast, twins, Summer Marion tier of characters. I know Watts has something to say on that, so I'm gonna let Rick go first. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, I get it. I think I get what Bear's trying to say. Like, it's the same conversation to me as like we have with Cherish sometimes, or like some people would bring up with Cherish. Like, I would say Cherish is useless or whatever, and someone would be like, oh, but he's really good for this and this and this. And it's like, well, yeah, in the context of Trial of Thorns or something like that, where you need like a sustainer, like, yeah, sure, like he's good. But like in the same context, if someone doesn't really care about doesn't care about pushing SOS or Guild Boss or whatever, and you have two strategist units, then yeah, I guess in that sense the twins do kind of fill that slot. But if you're running any kind of meaningful like endgame stuff, then they do like very different things. So in that sense, it's semantics obviously, but that's kind of where I stand on it. So no, she does not replace the twins don't replace W.Vast, but I guess in as someone who doesn't push scores or whatever, then potentially she could, but for most of us in this call watching this stream, I imagine we are doing all that stuff. So she probably does not.
And then also before you go, Watts, Marco SSH brings up a good point. People forget about double buffer, which is true. Double buffer is like the double strategist. That is kind of the thing with this game, even all the way on CN now. I know there's some like Seize Mitsuru teams that are trying to do sub DPS stuff, and sometimes it works a little better. But for the majority, like for the most part, you're seeing a lot of double strategist teams, which equals 4 strategists in Nightmare Gateway and SOS. So that's a lot of room. But Watts, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good supports in this game. If you sit down and look at it, there's like so many like different supports where it's like Turbo's great, Summer Marion's great, YAP's great, Chord's great, and now the twins are here, and they're great. And you're like, if I have 2 of these, why do I need so many other ones? But they're all like, if they're all equally as good as each other, like, sure, you can say that, but each one has a very specific difference that's going to make them specifically better for, like, each individual team. Where, like, if you don't have one of them, can you put in another one into their spot and get similar results? Sure. But for, like, the team that specifically wants one of them will get the best use out of that one. To where it's like, if you are a like person who's like spending on the game, I think you want all of them, you know, just due to the fact they're all good.
Yeah, which is honestly where a lot of these conversations are coming from. Like, I feel like when you consider it from like a free to play point of view or a, you know, non-competitive point of view, it all sort of goes out the window anyway, because it's like, I don't care, you know, like, you can play the game with standard banner characters at that point. But yeah, like, we were looking at because, you know, YAP's passive, the first one, it needs like 10 hits and 3 turns to proc, and there's only a few characters that can max that out, and Makoto Yuki's one of them. So that's an example where, you know, you could use you know, Turbo and someone else on him, but more than likely YAPT is going to be his best in slot support for a while, for, you know, reasons like that, where he can max out our passive and take full advantage of it. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic, and I feel like it's like CJ kind of alluded to, it's something that seems to come up every time we get a new strategist. And I mean, it's definitely going to come up again when we get Summer Marion.
People don't seem to understand that strategists don't really replace each other. They just kind of end up complementing each other in interesting ways. I really don't think that any of them really replace the other.
Nope.
But
yeah,
still,
I mean,
it's always a topic of conversation.
Yeah, look at Chord. You know, Chord, I remember when we were, actually, a side question, CJ, did you start playing at Global, or did you play before Global? Did you play any like TW or CN?
No, I started playing at Global.
Okay, cool. I think that's all of us in here. But yeah, like, I remember peeking in on CN when this version of the game started, and seeing people talk about Chord when the C's units came out. Like, oh, you can't use her anymore. It's, you know, it's over. It's over for Chord. She doesn't work with the C's units. And then Barry came out, and it's like, okay, yeah, Barry, like, Chord is one of the best supports for Barry. So, like you said, it may seem like they kind of disappear or fall by the wayside, but they always end up coming back, and it's like the opposite of the problem strategists or saboteurs have. So, oh no, it's like CJ said, we get in here to stop talking at our screens and start talking to each other, you know?
Talking to the screen all day for the last like 48 hours. I do want to give some more credit though. I feel like I worded what Bear said pretty bad. I think what he was trying to say was, yeah, because I just had a brain fart too.
Oh, you're good.
If you didn't have either of the buffers, but you had Twins A1, that it kind of lowers the value of YAPT and raises the value of Chord, because she provides something that you kind of can't substitute for the Twins. Yeah. Which I kind of understand that point of view as well. When I was talking about Chord versus YAPT, I was saying it kind of depends on how much you want Kasumi. Yeah, Kasumi needs Chord, and if you kind of just don't care about, if you care more about the C's units, you obviously would want YAPT instead, which I feel like it just depends on what you're going to be pulling for next. Absolutely. If you're a new player, that is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like we were saying before, the the strategists are like puzzle pieces. And Chord in particular is really weird, because she does, once again, it's like you said, they do something, generally they don't share the same mechanics. So it's like Chord for Barry, Chord for Kasumi, and then YAPT and Turbo are more like these generalist supports that are really good at one specific thing. But I see what Bear's saying then, because I saw people on TW and CN talking about how the twins are kind of seen on CN as more of a unit where if you missed all of these characters, they're a good unit to pick up to not exactly replace them, but like soften the blow of not having those characters. So I definitely understand where he's coming from with that. I would say picking one over the other is really tough though, in general with strategists, just because of how useful they are and how good Black Wings makes them, because it's consistently, it seems like, are really useful. The saboteurs, almost all the ones I can think of from now and into the future, they get pigeonholed into these teams where it's like, okay, Howler, and they tried to fix that with Howler, and they did it really weird because they buffed her in a way where she can be on more teams, but those teams don't come out for like a very long time. So I'm not really understanding what they were trying to do there. And then Matoy is kind of designed to be on the fire team, but then you have W.Vast, who can just go on a crazy amount of teams. Chord is just a go-to for so many teams.
It's like Vino. You really like. I've only seen Vino recently go on a team that does not have Queen.
Yeah, they're very. They make saboteurs to be very one trick. And then also there's really not a ton of incentive to do a lot of debuffs versus buffing, which is just, I guess, just how the game works, just down to that. But that's what I was trying to say, is that there's a lot of the in-game content, you don't value debuffs as much, and I think that is, I hope with how these recent bosses with Howler have come out, and then even the SOS when the twins came out, where those birds were beating the absolute dog piss out of you. That actually made you value having a guardian, because even with Marion healing all the way to full and over cap, you could still just get killed. You could just lose on the spot. So, and I think that's the thing. I just hope that more in-game content comes out. I think someone in our Discord mentioned this, and I can't remember their name, and I apologize, but they said something like that, where I wish we had more in-game content, that you needed more versatility. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what they try to do with Mindscape. And we were talking about Mindscape a little earlier, CJ. I don't know how early you joined in, but I like the content like that, where every character kind of, because I can accept, like, SOS and Nightmare Gateway double buffers, unless there's a sustain rule. Double buffer is just going to be the way to go. Like, I can live with that, but I would love to see those modes, like the gallery mode, the wave-based mode on CN, that's new to CN, and then Mindscape, where they kind of force you to use these characters that get less usage in the game. It's nice to see like them actually have us use our brain. Because how did Mindscape go for you, CJ?
My Mindscape was fine, but I feel like it's kind of bound to be fine when I'm A0 R1 everybody, so I feel like it's bound to be fine. But I was also looking at it from perspectives of people who don't do something like that. I like Mindscape, and I like that it makes you use more characters, but there is a part of me that wishes some things weren't so character specific, like specifically the twins node.
Yes.
I can imagine that node, if you don't have twins, is like impossible, and that kind of sucks, but I kind of get it.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out when it was new, you know how the first one, I could be remembering this wrong, it's either the second one or the third one. It's like you do more damage on follow-up turns.
The Joker node. It's an extra. It's extra action. It's extra action. Joker. I'm pretty sure.
How do you do that without him?
That one at least is a little easier because it's a little lower level. But the twins one's impossible.
It's like 70, 80 or something like that. Yeah.
The Joker one's also hard though.
I guess you're
Joker.
I guess you're just cooked on the twins ones. I haven't thought about that.
I mean, there's no other replacement for Almighty, so you kind of just have to eat it.
Yeah. Nope. You just have to wait for Akechi to come out. Yeah.
Someone said you can. Sorry, Grant.
Oh no, I was gonna make a joke that was probably gonna be bad. Go ahead.
Someone said you can trigger the Almighty with Sumi's like follow-up thing.
Oh, that is
Sepia's
true.
thing. So I didn't test that, so I have no idea. But someone did mention that, and I was like, oh, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, that to be determined how effective that would be, and if anyone has him built to
Mesa
make
bleed.
it more than a turn in that fight. But yeah,
Oh, Mesa bleed.
it could. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess we have
Okay.
to test all that stuff. But
Marco has a really good solution. He said A6 Queen has an extra turn,
Okay.
so you could just pull A6 Queen. So I don't see what the issue is really.
The twins are like the only almighty character that they ever put into the game. There's like no other character that deals almighty damage.
It was
Like,
really brave. It was really brave of them to make the first almighty character like a surprise drop character. Like they didn't do
kinda
one
crazy.
before that. This is weird.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Watts?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, don't come asking me. It's not like I'm gonna catch you defender or something. Look, I'm fine acting like he doesn't exist.
Yeah, I would love for that to be their first like big let's actually try to fix this character like attempt for their buffs, but I'm not
They kind of
I'm
did
not
it with
holding my
Summer
breath.
Closer for a little bit, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, because Summer Closer's A0 on CN was a lot more restrictive, and they reworded hers to work a lot better in global release. But yeah, Akechi needs something along the lines of that type of rework, not just like the number buffs that like a lot of characters get nowadays.
I
so
want to see Akechi get nerfed.
oh, you want to see a nerf for Akechi? You think he's too strong?
Yeah, I think Akechi needs to be nerfed down to a 4-star, actually.
Oh my god. So you think he should be a standard unit?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
Akechi should be a standard unit. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. CJ, since you've wandered into the farmers market, we have to ask you the question. What's your favorite Atlas game?
I'm not gonna lie, it's probably kind of basic, but it's Persona 3.
Persona 3. Okay. I thought you were gonna say Persona 5.
No, Persona 3 has always been my favorite Persona game, but
Did you so you started with FES or one of the OG like versions of Persona 3, so FES portable, one of those?
yeah, and then I came back to it when Reload released, and I remember people shitting on Reload. And
Yeah. I'm interested. What did
oh wait,
you
should I censor myself?
No, not at all. No.
Sorry.
We
didn't ask first.
No. We've said worse. we've said worse. I've had to edit stuff out of the edited version of these because I was like, man, we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I want to hear your thoughts on because I don't think I know. Rick is newer to Persona, and then Watts is a little newer to Persona, and then Grant. I think I talked Grant into playing Persona 4 Golden a little longer
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. So my first game was FES as well, and I sucked at it and I got mad at it and I put it down, and then I came back later to Persona 4. And that's the one that really hooked me and I got really into, and I did everything in it. And then I came back to FES and actually finished it. And I do really enjoy that game. And I was so worried about Reload, and there are things that I don't like about it. But it's not enough for me to be like, it isn't worth playing, or like it doesn't replace the original. You should still play the original, that kind of thing. I think it's a fantastic remake. There are scenes that I like way better in Reload. Junpei's resolution is so good. Like they did that so well, stuff like that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Reload? I'm just curious.
I think they did a good job with the remake, and that's what I was saying. I remember a lot of people kind of shitting on it, but I genuinely remember like when I was playing it, I enjoyed it, and I kind of agree. There's things that they did better, and I think that there's other things that they should have done differently.
Yeah.
It just, to me though, it just makes it worth playing both. It's not like not to be that guy. It's not like FES is expensive.
No. Yeah.
Neither of them are expensive, so I just feel like you could go back and play it Someone in the chat just said their biggest issue is Nokotone, which I also understand.
Yes. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
I remember, I think Atlas said something about that. Like, they would have to basically remake the game from ground up. It's too much money. So they said they either was going to do The Answer or
they should have done
FMC, and they should have done The Answer instead.
They should have done FMC. They should have done FMC instead of The Answer. Absolutely.
I think there's some spots it's fine, and there's some spots it's better, and some spots where I'm weird because I also, like, you were talking about Golden as well. Like, Persona 4 is getting a remake, and I think that's cool, but I do think that there's some sort of, there's a word I'm looking for. There's just some sort of personality in Golden with the chibi type characters that I think won't be caught in the remake either.
Yeah. So we've talked about this in the if not the first live episode. I think because Tosei is doing the remake, and Tosei, they did I don't know if you like Final Fantasy, but they did the Crisis Core remake, and it was actually really good. Like, it was super faithful to Crisis Core, and the cutscenes looked great. They kept all the dialogue the same. So I think they'll do fine. But like you said, I think there's a lot that will be lost with the Persona 4 remake. Like,
the graphics and like the vibes, it just fits Inaba so well that it's hard for me to imagine Persona 4 not looking and feeling like that game. It's like almost like the air quotes sheetiness of the graphics makes the vibe of the game for me. Yeah,
because it's like I know people. It sounds weird to say, but like retro. They have flip phones. They're going into a CRT TV. It's like a timepiece, like a 2000. What the game take place in 2009, like sort of timepiece. And then the recast of the dub, they did a really good job with the Persona 3 recast for the dub. Like Junpei, where the hell did they find that Junpei voice actor? He sounds almost the exact same. It's like uncanny. I don't know how they're gonna find somebody that sounds like Yosuke, or like somebody that sounds like Adachi and Yuna Arakami, or if they'll just go all new with the voice cast. So, yeah, I agree. I'm a lot more worried about P4's remake. I think P3 was very like low hanging fruit to remake because mechanically it had some things that were not so friendly to new players, which I definitely understand, but. Yeah, my biggest issue with Reload was I thought some of the remixed songs weren't as good as the original, and then they added the original tracks, so that was kind of that was like my biggest issue, and they changed it, so I can't really complain about that anymore. But no, I thought it was fantastic. I will say I felt the same way about the P3 remake as I'm feeling about the P4 one, and then it came out and it was really good. So who knows? They might do a really good job. I think some of my worry comes from the little trailer that we got of it, because it did not look very good. And I don't know, like it felt a little rushed, which maybe it was because it had been getting leaked. They were just like, let's get something out. Maybe that's why we still haven't got a reveal. But no, I was expecting you to say P5. I'm not gonna lie, it's interesting. I don't hear too many people in the P5X community say that P3 is their favorite, so it's interesting to me.
No, I really like all the Persona games. Persona 3 just has a special spot in my heart. I don't know what I could play P3 like over and over again. It's something about the way that the P3 message just like actually makes me sob every time I play it. Like, it's insane. I don't know what it is.
It's the classic meme, the P3 for story, P4 for characters, P5 for gameplay. That's the
P5 for gameplay does make that something that's Tartarus in P3 is just such a slow burn.
Yeah, and like P3 is more like a movie, so it's like you have to set up these characters. You're slowly getting their backstories, because these are just kind of people thrown together versus people all going to school together and meeting each other more organically. But God, when P3 pays off, like, when it starts paying off, I'm just glued to it.
I stand by that. The Sun Arcana.
P3,
the Sun Arcana from P3 is like
goated.
The best Arcana of any Persona series.
Yeah, one thing that I and it's Cope, I guess, talking about P6. But one thing I wish they would bring back to Persona is the character resolutions, because those are some of my favorite parts of Persona 3. When I think about that game, Junpei and like Chidori and his whole arc of that game is almost what I always end up going back to. Because kind of a normie opinion, but Junpei is my goat in that game, and just the ultimate bro character. It's one of the goats. CJ, have you ever dabbled in Shin Megami Tensei at all?
I have, but it was after I played like so many Persona games, and I actually I didn't know SMT existed for a very long time
valid.
Somehow.
Yeah,
I genuinely have no clue.
No, that's valid. It's completely valid, because like you think about this. Okay, the Persona games are, super popular, and I know mainline SMT is more popular in Japan, but they also make it such a pain. Like, mainline SMT4, probably, in my opinion, the best one. It's on the freaking 3DS. Like, I don't know. I feel like Atlus has had an issue making their games available to play that they've only recently started addressing. So no, I totally understand you not having played too much SMT, because they don't make it easy, Yeah, I know there's also a ton of people who still want like Persona 1 and 2 ports, which is valid as well. So, but I
feel
think
like
that's
2 is gonna be hard.
yeah, yeah.
You genuinely think they'd sit down and remake those games?
No, not a remake. I don't think so. I don't think a port is out of the question, though. Like, I think if they went out of their way to port Nocturne, even if it wasn't a crazy good port, I think we could see a port of the PSP.
Like Rido, like how they just did.
Yeah, that was really surprising. It was very good.
I couldn't see I don't see Persona 1 and 2 ever getting anything close to that.
No. I think maybe a port of the PSP versions of those games.
I think something along the lines of maybe the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters is the most we'll ever get.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Like maybe a new soundtrack. I know people are. God, you want to talk about people being emotional over soundtracks? Good Lord, don't get CJ. Don't get people started on the PS1 soundtracks of those games versus the PS2 or the PSP versions. They did because the first, I don't know the composer for the original Persona games, but Shoji Meguro, when they put them on PSP, he did, I believe, 1, 2, and so Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, like their own soundtracks for those, and people had issues with those back in the day too, which I think they're fine, but whatever. People are gonna have their preferences. Nostalgia plays a big part too. So, but yeah, we're actually. I think that's the stream you joined in on, right? Was our SMT 5 playthrough?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Admittedly, I kind of just listened rather than watched.
That's
all.
I've
Been doing anything, and I would have not known, but
that's kind of all we're going for.
Yeah, that's what we assume most of the stream content is.
Yeah.
It's background noise.
Yeah, I would hope that no one's watching Wanda stand in the middle of Shibuya Crossing. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely what the kind of the vibe we're going for with the streams is just chatting and talking about the game, talking about JRPGs. But yeah, we're coming right up on 2 hours here. So I think this is usually the length we try to go for. The last one went to 2.5 hours just because we could not stop yapping. But I think we are going to call it at the 2-hour mark. I know Watts has got a little bit to do tonight.
Kind of a crazy patch to be talking about, because the patch itself didn't really give us much to talk about. They gave us a little bit of something to talk about by messing up SOS. But other than that, we got the old robot event. That was kind of cool. Glad we didn't just lose that event,
skip it. Yeah.
But nothing really special to talk about.
Yeah. Just, Rick. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Watts.
Fun social link. That was about all that we got.
Oh, yeah. I do. Damn, I feel bad we didn't talk about the Runa. I like the Runa social link a lot. I feel bad we didn't talk about it. Yeah, I do like that. I like that. Just to cover that really quickly, I really like the way that they tied together her social link and Akihabara. I think that is what Kichijoji needed, because Kichijoji just got dropped into this game and like nothing really happened, which is kind of sucked. But yeah, I like how they did Akihabara. Rick, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. I think the next one of these is going to be pretty interesting, depending on what comes on in that next live stream. So,
absolutely.
That's a teaser for the next one, folks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
CJ, anything? I know you're a first time guest.
I think you guys covered everything. I mean, the only thing to me, you guys were saying it earlier, is I just hope the next patches aren't dead. Like actually dead. That's my only fear.
Yeah. All right,
a completely random thought.
Yeah.
But
no, you're
random thought. You guys were talking about Akechi earlier. I kind of like heard some of your guys' opinions on Akechi.
Yeah.
But would you guys believe I made one video where I was talking about upcoming units, and I made a pros and cons list for every character, and for Akechi's pros, I just put 3 dots. And someone screenshotted that. Would you guys believe that started like an entire like?
Oh my god, that was you!
There's a huge Twitter thread about that screenshot.
Yeah,
oh my god!
I've seen the Twitter post.
That's really funny.
Yeah,
I have seen that. I didn't know that came from you.
That one breached containment. That one made it to the Twitter sphere.
It's true. It's literally true. So I don't.
That one reached out of Persona 5 P5X.
Yeah, it did.
That made it to just straight up Persona Twitter.
Persona Twitter, yeah.
It's become one of the funniest things to me because there's just people arguing about it. I always said that I think P5 Akechi would slime P5X Akechi just for being so ass, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
That all it took was that screenshot.
Yeah, it's because they hated him because he spoke the truth. It's in the Bible. Listen, if you have to start your argument with at A6, the character's immediately irrelevant right there.
Yeah.
Just you can stop right
Dog
there.
ass character.
Yeah, like it's a ridiculous requirement. But yeah, I definitely agree. But yeah, thanks for joining us, CJ. We can definitely if you're interested in joining the next one with us, we can definitely plan it out a little more so we have kind of the roundtable thing going. I think it'd be really fun. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and we're gonna let Grant close it out.
Send us home, Grant.
All right, y'all. This one goes out to the viewers. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a little search bar right there at the top. I need you to type in Slick Rick P5X. Find the channel. I need you to crush that subscribe button. Smash that bell icon. All right. And once you're done with that, we're going to head right back up to that search icon. You're going to look up, hey, CJ, what's your YouTube channel name?
It's Ceejay P5X.
Oh, see, you're going to type in Ceejay P5X. Same thing, find that channel. Crush that subscribe button and obliterate that bell icon. And then, once more, if you're not already subscribed, because I know 90% of people watching this aren't subscribed to the Farmers Market P5X. We're going to gently click that subscribe button, and there's a little bell icon right next to it. Go ahead and smack that one as well. There's a little thumbs up. Why don't you go ahead and click that one too for me, okay? All right, y'all. Thanks for coming out and listening. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.